Tami Roman explains why she is fine with her husband having a child with someone else on this segment of It's Scary to Remarry. What's up, Bravehearts community? This is Sean Heineman here with another segment of It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. This topic I found very interesting about Tami Roman and her husband because I feel like there are some places we can go with this and how we can even apply this to our everyday life. So let's jump into this as I've done some research and watched the content on this topic with Tami Roman. Tami Roman explained to the cast of The Real why she is willing to allow her husband, Reggie Youngblood, to father a child with another woman. She says this: I feel like I'm at a point where my career is starting to do and reward me for all of the time and my efforts that I've been in this business. And a baby for me right now would just be the thing to do, she said. Roman explained that she happily will participate in raising the child. She also said it's really about him being able to have his legacy because he is an only child. I thought that was very interesting. And I feel like as long as they have an understanding and an agreement, I see nothing wrong with it. But my question is, and this is something that we all can apply to our everyday life, what each of you want in a relationship? And you have to have those conversations. Now, when I thought about Tami and this topic, I thought about this as well. The only way this situation will work is if the woman who he decides to have a child with doesn't mind having her child full time. He would take the child to spend time with Tami as well. So whoever the woman that he's gonna have this baby with, I wonder what is her mindset. That is it okay that I might not have my baby, a week or two at a time, depending on what they're willing to work out if they had that conversation. I think that's something that can really play into their relationship. So that's why it's important to have those conversations. Also, I thought about this: men having a baby mama and not having their children under one roof adds difficulty, not only financially, but it makes another child in a broken home. Not that it can't work, but it's definitely more feasible to be married to the person you have a child with. And this is from experience because, I've been through a divorce and I know what it's like to have my daughter with me. I know what it's like not to have my daughter and how that co-parenting thing work. So I can feel that pain. So that's another conversation that they must have. And some of this is just speculation, right? So Tami, if you are watching this video, this is just something to give you something to think about. Now, let's apply this to our everyday life. And I think we have to ask the tough questions when it comes to relationships when we're interested in someone, because what happens is I feel that we can possibly lose out on someone, right? If we afraid to ask the tough questions, because we figure if we don't think alike, then I might lose this person. I really like him or her, this kind of thing. But if I ask, it might be a deal breaker. And then I got to start all over in this whole dating thing again. But that's the chance that you have to be willing to take, because on the back end, this can really, really hurt you. Now, the thing is, when we get into relationships and we're dating, we get it backwards because a lot of times we have the sex first and then we start to ask those questions, even if we take time to ask those quote unquote difficult questions. So I think we have to start first with dating, getting to know each other, likes, dislikes, these kind of things. What are deal breakers? I think that's very vital into jumping into a relationship instead of us starting with the sex first. Now, here's another thing. Do you want children? This is a very important question. And if you don't want children, what preventative measures are you taking to not have any children, right? Are you on birth control? Did you have a vasectomy as a man, right? These are questions that we have to ask, because sometimes I know we talk about condoms and protection and things of that nature, but after so long, the condom comes off, right? Because you want to feel it. So I know we can get comfortable in relationships, and then a couple of months later, you're pregnant. And then you have to ask the question, if you do want kids, how many, right? Because this conversation, if even if we're able to, if we can't have kids, right, that's something worth addressing as well. And I know that can be something personal, that you really don't want to discuss just like straight out the gate, but maybe you can't have kids. Are you into adopting? I've met plenty of couples where they have adopted kids as well, and it worked out for both of them as well. Let's talk about this. What about finances? Are you the spender or are you the saver? Are you both flexible in this area or are you both rigid? One key to having a healthy relationship is being flexible, right? Like not really just throwing anyone's idea out the door about the way they feel or the way they were raised or the way they spend money or the way that they save money. I think if you could be a little flexible and understand where that person coming from, I think you have a better chance of making the relationship work. But that's only if you are flexible in this situation, because sometimes finances and kids, like those things can be deal breakers when it comes to relationships. And sometimes we're willing to sacrifice to try to make that person happy and to try to keep them. Here's another big one. What about in-laws? Does his or her family like you? That's a big one. Do y'all have history together? Is it one of those things where you've done something in the past, y'all been together, and the family is always holding that against you? Well, he did this, or she did that. Like that history can really damage your relationship as well. I think it's very important to have in-laws that y'all both like each other, because if not, it really can be damaging to a relationship. Here's the last one, last but not least. What about sex? Obviously, you've been doing that if y'all talking about kids, right? Well, not all cases. I'll take that back. But how often are you willing to have sex? After doing some study, majority of couples have sex once a week. And I was like, wow, once a week. That's very interesting. But to each his own. I understand a lot of people have businesses, they working from home, they've started businesses, all kind of different things, kids coming to the mix. So I get it. So the average is one time a week, but you got to have that conversation. Are you into having sex twice a week, 3 times a week? So anything over that one day is a plus, but I think it's definitely worth discussing, because remember, anything that you don't discuss, you can't blame anyone, right? You got to have the conversation. You can't hold that person accountable if you've never had that conversation. And I think that's where a lot of times we go wrong at, because we have these expectations, but we've never discussed them. So I think that is very important. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear from you, and especially with the way Tami Roman is going about with her husband having a child with someone else. I thought that was very interesting. This is Sean Heineman here at It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. Make sure you leave a rating and review. If you are listening to this in the audio, you can leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, and also hit the subscribe button. I'm on Spotify as well. And make sure you share this video with a friend if you're watching this on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Take care, people.